Hey, good afternoon. My name's Chris Gunn, and once again, this is my channel, Chris Gunn's Bourbon Barrel Creations. So this weekend was the May drop for the Alabama ABC stores. So here in Alabama, we have a hybrid system where the majority of most of the liquor stores are run by the state of Alabama, and then they'll have I would dare say it's not even close to the same number of privately owned liquor stores. But for the most part, most of them are controlled by Alabama, and what they do is um, it's there's some good and the bad to this. Okay, so Alabama, much like North Carolina and Virginia, where the states control the liquor license and they control most of the liquor sales. Um, they set the price, and but they also control what's released. But I do believe Alabama does it a little bit better. And the way Alabama does it is on or around the first weekend, or it might be the second weekend. They'll release the list of what they're going to have in each store the fourth Saturday of every month. And so I had seen the list for this month. Now they'll do 3 quarterly drops where they're a little bit bigger. One of them's next month for June, and then they do this really big one in December. But the other months they're smaller drops, and then for the most part they won't have any of the really big allocated stuff at those drops. But for this one, they did have a fairly new product that I think a lot of us were hoping to get. Um, so I had not really done too much with Alabama ABC stores as far as the drops because I still haven't got my Alabama driver's license. There's a reason behind it. But for the most part, it's me dragging my feet. Now I do have an appointment to get it. I just didn't have it up to this point. But there was a clause in there that if you were military and you had um, like a bill, something that showed where your proof of residence were, you could go up there. And I had never tried to do it. I was just real concerned I'd be up there all night and then get in line and get told, no, that paperwork's not good enough. You can't do it. Um, but either way, I had a friend of mine that was coming in from out of town, Dan. He recently moved from Alabama, so he's got a driver's license, and so he was going to be there, and I hadn't seen him in a while, and I wanted to spend some time with him, and I'd been told that it was a pretty good time, and so I went up there the night before, and basically just it's a gentleman's agreement. You put your name on a list. You don't leave, which meant I had to sleep in my truck, which was an adventure upon itself. But I went up there the night before, and me and Dan had a couple of pours and just spent some time together, and some other people showed up. And we spent a little time together, and then when we got tired, we all went and crashed in our vehicles and got up the next day, and just hung out until they opened up. And because I'd gotten up there to meet Dan at about 8 o'clock the night before, I was like number two in line behind Dan. So without further ado, I'll talk about what I got in the ABC drop, and I'll talk about some other stuff too because it was actually a pretty good day. I had a mail call waiting for me when I got home. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is this Cherry Rare. Now Dan had gotten this for me. He had contacted me. We had tried this over it. He had a bottle of this at the Spillway event, and we had tried it, and I was pretty blown away at what was in this tube. And so he had contacted me about a couple of weeks or a month later and said, "Hey, I think I can get my hands on one for you. Do you want it?" He quoted me a price, and I said, "Yeah, please try to get me one." So he actually brought this to me. Now, this is pretty cool, and I had never heard of this up until the point Dan had let us all sample it. So it comes in this tube, and you can see it's called Cherry Rare. And the script on here might look a little familiar to people. So anyway, it comes in this tube. It's kind of like an E.H. Taylor bottle. It's not in the tube right now, but it's just you open it up, and I'm gonna put it over here so I can get this out of my way. And this is what's in the bottle. So, or in the tube. So you're probably like, "Wow, Chris, you got a Bald Eagle Rare," whoop-de-doo. Now, Yes, this is a bottle of Eagle Rare, and you can see it's got the Cherry Rare sticker on it, and then on back it's got this Tater sticker. Now I don't know who the gentleman is. I'm sure whoever does this probably got a backstory on the Tater sticker, and then he red waxes the top, and then I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but the indentions on top look like cherries. What this is this is Eagle Rare that was barrel or that was finished in a Cheerwine soda barrel. So I'm not sure if Cheerwine comes in a barrel or how they make it, but all I know is my first sergeant, John Bradshaw, from when I was in 101st Airborne Division and deployed to Iraq with him, he absolutely loved Cheerwine. I had never heard of it until I met John, and I remember I got to take some R&R to go to Qatar, and while I was there, I saw a 6-pack in a store, the commissary on the base, and I got him and took it back to Iraq for him. He was just super stoked about that. But anyway, this is pretty interesting because, yeah, it's Eagle Rare, but it's got it is like a cherry bomb. So I was pretty stoked about getting this because my understanding is a gentleman out in Texas does this, and then you basically, you get on a list, and he basically does limited amounts every year, and then, yeah, so that's that. Okay, now let's get on to what I picked up at the ABC drop. So the big thing that I was after, I didn't think I'd get it because I knew I had talked to another friend of mine, and he had told me, he goes, I think they'll probably have 3 bottles of it. And if you don't get there super early, you're probably not going to get it. But once I got there, Dan was the only person there, and I ended up second in line. And they'll put the list in the window and basically tell you what all they got. And we knew they had 12 bottles of this. And what this is, and it comes in this pretty cool bag. The crazy thing was not all 12 of these came in this bag. I think there were only 3 that had the bag, and they were in the back behind the other bottles. And when she handed me my bottle, I saw the one in the bag and said, "Oh, ma'am, can I trade mine to get one of the ones with the cool bag?" And she willing, she was real nice about it. She got it for me. But this is the Old Fitz Bottled in Bond 7-year. I watched the review that Randy Sullivan from Mash and Drum did on this. He says it's pretty good. One of the things I found kind of interesting was it's got 2 DSP numbers on it. And the DSPs are the distillery numbers. One is 1, and I believe the other one is 31. My understanding was the number 1 is the Old Fitz one, and the number 31 is the distillery in Bardstown. But, the Old Fitz bottles, they come in those beautiful crystal decanters, and even if you don't buy one for this that's inside, you definitely want the bottle because the crystal bottle. And I think this is reminiscent of that bottle with the cuts here, and it's got a really cool. I don't know if my camera will pick it up, but it's got a really cool cork in it. And yeah, I was just super stoked to get this bottle. Now the crazy thing is, this was $59.99 because once again, Alabama sets the prices. And there was a pile of people there. There was probably 60 people there when it was all said and done. And I asked Dan about it because I had never been up there for one before. And Dan said, yeah, he goes, I suspect it's everybody wants that bottle. So the first 12 of us got one, I'm sure, because I'm sure by the time the individual that was 13th in line got up there, they were probably not so lucky because I think we'd have probably already got them. Okay, I'll probably come off camera a little bit because I just realized I put the bottle way over on the table, so I'm going to reach over there and grab it. Now, once again, I didn't think I'd get the Old Fitz, but I was pretty sure I was going to be able to get my hands on this bottle. And this is the 2025 Maker's Mark Keeper, the Keeper release. The Keepers. It's called Keepers. I was really wanting this bottle because I got last year's was the Heart release, and I was blown away at how good the Heart release was. And so I wanted this one to go with that one. And Makers is you can't really ever go wrong with Makers. Makers is always pretty good. And the thing I like about Makers is the Star Hill Farms, their distillery is absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. If you ever get a chance to do a tour of that, don't pass on it. So now the last thing I got at the drop, because for the monthly drops, I've been told you can get 2 bottles, and then the quarterly, which I'm going to go to next month, and then the annual one, they're vastly different. But for this one, you could get 2, but you could also get a couple of these too. And what this is just, they're called Blanton's Minis. They're just like a little travel bottle, I guess, but they're pretty cool. I had one of these that I got at the distillery, but it didn't have the label on it, and it didn't have the wax on it. You know, it's crazy. Like when I first got into bourbon, you couldn't find Blanton's, and at the Spillway event at the very end, there was so much Blanton's left over, nobody was taking it. I think the market's been saturated with Blanton so much now that people that want it can get it. And I think people like me that's kind of been in the bourbon game for a little while, we're after the kind of the more one-off Blantons. I've been lucky enough to, I've landed the Takara Red and Takara Black from Japan. And then I got a pretty cool 375 milliliter Blantons I got on the day of one of Kentucky Derbies up at the distillery, and it's got it was released during COVID, so the tater sticker's got the buffalo on it, and the buffalo's got a COVID mask on. But I'd never been able to get my hands on one of these little ones. And so Dan reminded me, he says, Chris, when you get in there, he goes, that doesn't count against your 2, and you can get 2 of these. And so I got 2 of these little ones, and it's just kind of cool. I mean, I don't know, I want to open it and drink it because I've got Blanton's open and I can drink it all day long. So, but yeah, it'll look cool on the shelf. Now, so I told Dan that, hey, we'd kind of talked before we went in the store, and Dan had told me, he says, Chris, just know that once people grab, it's kind of anticlimactic at that point, because you've spent all night, you built memories with your friends, and you've had some, we had some incredible pours, by the way. I'm not going to say who, but, one gentleman brought a Coy Hill, and man, he was all about, drink it, man. Have as much of it as you want. And then he also brought a bottle of Weller Foolproof that he was trying to finish, and I just thought it was pretty cool because there was a guy that showed up. We didn't all know him, but he had brought his dog. She was a beautiful, like, Labrador. She's about 8 months old, and she just real sweet dog. She lets all love on her, and he just really seemed like a super nice guy. And when we all got ready to go to bed, he told the guy, he said, hey man, see that bottle of Weller Foolproof there? Take it home with you and drink it. Just enjoy it. And that just says a lot about the people in the bourbon community to me. But anyway, Danny told me, he says, Chris, by the time you get in the store, it's almost anticlimactic because the real memories you built while you're out here with all of us hanging out. He goes, so just so you know, once we're done, it's like we'll just all jet. We won't probably even say bye to each other. And me and Dan got time. We did stop long enough just to, tell each other to be careful going home and, look forward to seeing you next month. But so I got home, I was pretty tired because, I'm just not, I'm not used to sleeping in. I didn't take my truck. I took my wife's Honda, and it's not fun sleeping in the back seat of that thing. Next time I'll take an air mattress and put it in the bed of my truck and sleep on it. But by the time I got home, I was exhausted. I just wanted to go lay down and sleep the rest of the day. But when I woke up, there was a box that they was sitting in the floor, and it had a bunch of the blow up bottle sleeves in it. And I was like, oh, what is that? And my wife said, I don't know. It's from 13th Colony. And I'm like, and I kind of played, what could that be? I knew exactly what it was. And what was in the box was this. This is the Echoes in Eternity barrel pick that we did down at 13th Colony about a month ago, and mine finally arrived in the mail. So, I was pretty stoked to finally get this because it took a little while for them to show up. I think it's kind of cool. You can see it right here. This is what 13th Colony is starting to do now. When you do a store pick with them, or I'm sorry, a barrel pick, a store or an individual group or something does a barrel pick with them, they put this on there, and it's got it says hand selected by Echoes in Eternity. Now, just a quick shout out on this one. Sean has started posting this on social media on his Facebook page and various other pages. I put it on my Facebook page, but Sean has opened this up for the general public to buy this. And the way you get it is you go to a website called Poor Decisions. I'm sorry, you got to go first. He's asked that you give a donation to a charity group that deals with the military, and he's not even said which one it is. He just says any group. And once you give, he didn't even ask for a dollar amount. He says you give what you think your heart leads you to do, and then you get an email to him, and then once you get the email to him, he'll give you the code, and you go on the website and you buy it. So I just thought that was, once again, Sean always finds a way to give back to someone else. That's one reason I value him so much as a friend, is just his big heart. So anyway, that is what I got at the Alabama ABC drop for the month of May. And hopefully next month I'll have a pretty good one too for the quarterly. But anyway, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. There's 2 weekends that are holidays that are kind of special to military and veterans. And the first is is the Veterans Day weekend. Now there's some confusion sometimes about the 2 holidays. Veterans Day is for the veterans. That's for people like me, people who have served in the military and done our time, gotten out, and we've moved on to other things in life. This weekend is more sombering, special one for me. This is a weekend that we think about the people we lost. And unfortunately, lost quite a few people. One that was a very, very close friend of mine, and a lot of soldiers that served with me. So tomorrow I'll be thinking about that individual, and probably have a pour in his name and all the other soldiers I lost. So if you've got a pour, hopefully you got somebody that you can share it with and you can build memories. But I'll see you at the next video, and y'all have a nice day.